You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. You can hear the Liquidator being played through the PA system here at Stamford Bridge. Banner's been unfurled at the shed end saying champions of the world. Just to remind Paris Saint-Germain, they might be European champions, but they're not champions of the globe. That's Chelsea's claim to fame just now, Dean Ashton.
It is. And they have got that over their opponents tonight. And also, what was the score in that final?
3-0.
3-0.
Which
So
would give us extra time.
the only issue is there was a different manager in
Yes.
the Chelsea dugout.
No great surprise there.
No.
Is it really? Lots of games underway up and down the country. Goals in League 2. Notts County starting the night in fourth. Just 4 points off an automatic spot. They lead at Accrington Stanley through Jody Jones. And Harrogate, who are at the bottom of the table, 3 points adrift of safety and no win in 4. They lead at struggling Tranmere. Tranmere are 7 points clear of the drop zone to go out of the Football League. But get this, they've lost 12 of their last 13 games, Tranmere Rovers. And Harrogate lead at Prenton Park through Reece Smith. Well, you can hear the familiar music of the Champions League theme ringing around Stamford Bridge as we look out from our bird's eye view high up in the East Stand at Stamford Bridge. The shed end to our left and the Matthew Harding to our right. King of Clubs is the massive flag that's being moved across the Matthew Harding lower tier, just indicating just how trophy-laden Chelsea are as a club. But Paris Saint-Germain managed to get that inaugural Champions League win last season, and how they would love to retain that trophy. And we haven't spoken much about Paris Saint-Germain, but boy, oh boy, have they got the firepower to do it all again, Dean Ashton.
Well, absolutely, and they've got that experience, haven't they? And it was at this stage really last year that they just put themselves into second gear and then into third, fourth and eventually fifth. They timed it brilliantly last season in this competition, and it's got that feel again about it. So they will come here extremely confident because of what they've done in the first leg. And I got off at Earl's Court with hundreds of PSG fans, and the way they were singing is they feel like this should be an easy night to celebrate.
You weren't in amongst all those fireworks being set off down the King's Road, were you? I saw some footage earlier where...
I just missed it.
Did you?
I just managed to hot
It was pretty intense as they the support that's now down in the corner of the shed end next to the East Stand, letting off fireworks aplenty and flares as they made their way to Stamford Bridge to support their team. In League One, Luton Town lead against Exeter. 5 points off the playoff places. Luton at the start of the night. Casey Palmer's given Jack Wilshire's side the lead. Harrogate have got a second at Tranmere Rovers. Tranmere 0, Harrogate 2. Chance Hedman with the second for the Railwaymen. Let me again just remind you quickly of the team news here for Chelsea. Sanchez in goal. We'll wait to see what the lineup is, Dean. You can have a look once we get underway as to whether it is a 4 at the back. We think it's Chalobah, Sarr, Hato and Cucurella in a 4. Santos and Caicedo holding. Palmer, Fernandes and Neto behind Pedro. For Paris Saint-Germain, Safonov is the goalkeeper, who looked excellent in the warm-up. I was watching him making some terrific saves, although it is only the warm-up. Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Mendes across the back. Zaire Emery, Vitinha and Neves in the midfield. Barcola, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia up front. Huddles, but the referee from Slovenia has wisely steered clear of getting involved in any shenanigans. Slovenian officials here tonight, and German VAR officials back in the VAR hub in Nyon in Switzerland. So everything about to get underway in the Champions League. Matches already underway tonight in the EFL. I've already given you latest goal updates. It's still 4-0 to Sporting on the night, putting them 4-3 up in extra time against Bodo Glimt. Remember, the winners of that take on Arsenal, who are just about to kick off their second leg live on Talksport 1-1 with Bayer Leverkusen. And Manchester City have the same task as Chelsea, getting 3 goals back on an opponent, namely Real Madrid at the Etihad Stadium. Updates on that game on Talksport with Mickey Gray alongside Adrian Durham. But our concentration here on Talksport 2 is very much at Stamford Bridge. And already I'm just having a look at this. It does look like 3 at the back, doesn't it, Dean? Just the way they're setting up for the kickoff. Let's have to wait and see. But Cole Palmer rolls it all the way back to Robert Sanchez, who didn't keep goal in the first leg. It was Jorgensen who had a bit of a torrid night, as it was a torrid week for Premier League goalkeepers in Europe last week. And Paris Saint-Germain in their chain strip of red with a flash of blue. They're attacking the shed end. Chelsea are attacking the Matthew Harding in the first half. They normally like to do that in the second period of games. And they're trying to spread play wide to Neto, but that's intercepted by Nuno Mendes. Now Kvaratskhelia gives it back to Nuno Mendes down the left-hand side of the area. Pulls the ball across the face of goal, and Sanchez does hold on to it. Had a bit of confusion because Chalobah was right next to him. Or was it Caicedo? It was Caicedo, in actual fact it was close to him. No, Chalobah, I beg your pardon. But it's 0-0. We played a minute, and Dean Ashton's had a bit of a scoot at what Chelsea are doing at the back. Dean?
Yeah, well, it does look like a back three. It looks like Neto is playing as a right wing back and Cucurella on the left-hand side, with Chalobah in the middle of Heito and Sarr. So there is something slightly different.
And Neto turns the ball round the corner, and Cole Palmer's chasing after this down the inside right channel, and he's forcing the centre-half to go back and put it out of play. Pacho puts it out of play for a throw down by the corner flag on this near side. So Pedro Neto will have it 10 yards from the corner flag on the right for Chelsea. Throws it back to Mamadou Sarr. Remember, so few appearances for Chelsea, Mamadou Sarr, but one of a couple of players that have worked with Liam Rossini before in his days at Strasbourg. Cucurella rolls it back for Hato. They're trying to close down the space to the goalkeeper. It's well done by Hato in the end, and Cucurella wins a throw down the Chelsea left-hand side. Chelsea in their regulation blue shirts and shorts with white socks as they attack the Matthew Harding to our right. Leyton Orient lead at AFC Wimbledon in League One. That's Don Ballard for the O's. 4 points clear of relegation at the start of the night.
I mean, just looking at that formation, what it can do for them is it can give them that extra player in midfield. Cole Palmer will be up alongside João Pedro, but when he drops, that 4 against 3 then in midfield, but they are obviously losing out wide an extra player, and here they go again, PSG down the left.
Yeah, Zaire Emery gets to the left-hand corner of the penalty area. He's got the Chelsea defenders backpedaling. Just lays it back to the edge of the box, and it's Hakimi who's at the edge of the D. Rolls it right for Barcola, into Hakimi again at the right-hand corner of the penalty area. And they're just touching it right and left. Paris Saint-Germain, Nuno Mendes in field to the lively Vitinha. And now it's worked back to halfway, and Chelsea have got everybody behind the ball as it goes across to the captain, Marquinhos. So many appearances for Paris Saint-Germain. Just a vastly experienced player for the Parisians, Marquinhos. 515 appearances as of tonight, and the PSG fans to our left in the shed end bouncing up and down in unison. Peterborough lead against Rotherham United in League One.
That's a bit like the carriage I was on earlier.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been comfortable.
Lovely.
Watford lead Wrexham in the Championship. The only Championship game of the night at Vicarage Road. Mark Bowler putting Watford ahead. And Southend 2-0 upon Rochdale. The leaders of the National League are 2-0 down at Roots Hall. James Golding. Ball's back with Robert Sanchez. We played 4 minutes here on Talksport 2. Game yet to really settle down. Sanchez just fires the ball straight downfield at one bounce, and it's through to Matvey Safonov, the Russian who signed a year and a half ago from Krasnodar. He's been in the side since December. Wasn't playing at the start of the season, but his performances have seen him trusted by Luis Enrique more and more as the season has gone on. Barcola playing on the right, can't keep it in play under pressure from Hato, so it's a throw to Chelsea. 4.5 gone on Talksport 2. Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 0. Still a 3-goal deficit for Chelsea to make up.
And with that change of system for Chelsea, you know, can you have that organisation and understanding quickly enough against top opposition, elite level opposition?
Yeah, that's one training session they'll have had effectively, won't they?
Exactly. So, you know, they'll be, you know, PSG will be looking to adapt very quickly, and where those gaps and weaknesses are, you've got to be ready for this if you're Chelsea.
João Pedro gets his first meaningful touch of the night, gets towards the edge of the area, steps inside the defender, being urged to shoot by one or two around, but he lost his footing, and then as he lost his footing, he fouled the midfielder, João Neves, who got caught. And so it'll be a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain just ahead of their own 18-yard line. 5 minutes gone on Talksport 2. They've just started the second half of extra time in Lisbon, Sporting 4-0 up on the night against Bodo Glimt, and therefore 4-3 up on aggregate. Driven downfield by the keeper, Safanov, looking for Kvaratskhelia, trying to get in behind Sarr, and Kvaratskhelia scores! That's probably tie over straight away as the tormentor-in-chief from the first leg does it again. Simple ball over the top from the goalkeeper, and Kvaratskhelia made absolute mincemeat of Mamadou Sarr, got inside him, and then rolled the ball into the bottom corner past Sanchez. And Paris Saint-Germain have wasted little time to extend their aggregate lead to 4 goals. Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1.
Well, Mamadou Sarr's only 20, and he has been physically bullied by Kvaratskhelia. Yes, he's quick, but Hato gets into a great position defensively. He's done the hard work. He's read the ball over the top. He's got his body into the position, and then he's just been bullied by Kvaratskhelia, who just wins the ball off him, shrugs him aside, settles himself down on the left-hand side of the penalty area, and then just whips a left-footed cross. Sanchez underneath the Chelsea goalkeeper, and like you said, pretty much tie over with the simplest of goals. Really poor defending from Hato.
So it's a 13th goal of the season. Kvaratskhelia, get my teeth in, and that's his 3rd goal in 2 Champions League games, and he got an assist, just continuing his great form from the first leg. And if it was tough before kick-off for Chelsea, well, you can hear from the slightly muted atmosphere, save for the Paris Saint-Germain fans loving it. Cole Palmer tries an ambitious drive from the edge of the area. It won't go out for a corner, but it's put out for a throw. And there's a Paris Saint-Germain player lying inside the D, just outside his own penalty area. I think it's Pacho who's down hurt and needs treatment. But Chelsea will eventually get a throw. And if they didn't have to throw caution to the wind before Dean Ashton, well, they have no other option now. 4 goals down.
It's so difficult, so deflated. Every Chelsea fan deflated as a player as well. You know, you've got that belief, and then it's been dented so early from just a really poor mistake. Hato there early on in the game. Again, maybe someone a bit more experienced just gets his body in the way and then just clears the ball into touch. He doesn't. He tries to be clever and take a touch and maybe play to Sanchez. Slight miscontrol, and Kvaratskhelia was in.
Now Hato carrying it forward up to the edge of the area. Chance for Enzo Fernandez, trying to curl it into the far post. Took a touch off a Paris Saint-Germain leg. Corner to Chelsea at the Matthew Harding end. 1-0 PSG.
Yeah, I mean, that was to be working. The changing system in terms of that extra player. Enzo Fernandez this time getting free. Lovely run off the ball from João Pedro to take Marquinhos away. And then Fernandez just looking to strike, but deflected wide.
In it comes from Neto, right in front of the keeper. Safanov gets a punch. Enzo heads back towards the 6-yard line. Bounces on the 6-yard line. Pedro goes down, wanting a penalty. Quite theatrical. Referee wants nothing to do with it. Pedro puts the cross back in. Headed towards goal. Brilliantly blocked on the line. And a push has been given against the Chelsea player, much to the Chelsea fans' indignation behind that goal. And Paris Saint-Germain can clear their lines. They lead by a goal to 0, the Parisians, with 9 minutes gone on Talksport 2.
Yeah, I felt like there was a push in there on the goalkeeper. Pretty obvious one as well. I think the referee just giving it a second or two to make sure in his mind, but it was. But again, you know, Chelsea can free themselves up in a way. There's definitely no pressure on them now. See if they can make it difficult for Safanov.
Goals elsewhere. Huddersfield are 2-0 up against the League One leaders Lincoln City, who are on a 20-game unbeaten run. Ryan Ledson with the second for the Terriers. Mansfield lead at playoff chasing Bradford in League One. Salford in League Two in the playoff places, 1-0 up against lowly Barrow. Oldham Athletic, who are on a very good run, lead at Chesterfield through Kane Drummond. Rochdale get a goal back at Southend, 2-1 to Southend against the National League leaders. Emmanuel Diaz-Aruve with the goal back for the Dale. And it's 1-0 here to Paris Saint-Germain. meaning that the aggregate lead is now 6-2 in favour of the reigning European champions. Ball's on halfway with Moises Caicedo, forced to go back into his own half for Hato. Hato into the centre circle, Palmer on the half turn, trying to spin away from Kvaratskhelia, who loses out, but it now gets it again. Inside left channel, the Georgian. Tucks it back infield to Zaire Emery, who elects to go back into his own half and find Pacho and then Marquinhos. Burton Albion 1, Reading 0 in League One. Burton 5 points clear of relegation at the start of the day. George Evans with the goal for them. And Exeter equalise at Luton in the same division. Only 4 points clear of the drop zone, Exeter. At the start of the night, Reece Coles equalised for them at Kenilworth Road. And again, it's the Paris Saint-Germain fans you can hear with their unison clapping away to our left-hand side. Chelsea fans need something to grab hold of here, really, to give them any sort of positivity. Enzo Fernandez finds Cole Palmer on halfway, can try and release João Pedro through the middle, who's caught by Hakimi. Is he? No, he won the ball back cleanly, says the referee. Played up to halfway, Barcola twisting and turning, keeps the ball away from Hato, and Hakimi and Vitinha combined with passes, and Kvaratskhelia in acres of space on the left, but it goes to the right-hand corner, and Hakimi, who can't control it, and it's behind for a Chelsea goal kick at the shed end. Yeah. Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 1.
Oh, it was poor from Cole Palmer. Got played into his feet. Just needed to play João Pedro in, play that ball ahead of him. So unlike Cole Palmer not to get that weight of pass right. João Pedro in the end just being dispossessed. It was all about the pass from Palmer that wasn't good enough.
So a goal kick for Chelsea, which Sarr rolls into Sanchez along the 6-yard line. Cleared into the inside left channel. Lovely cushion header from João Pedro, down for his captain Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez now looks to release Cucurella over the top down the left-hand side. Across comes Pacho, the defender puts it out of play for a throw, but that was better from Chelsea.
Yeah, there's been some bright bits of forward play from them already in this game, and I thought they would cause PSG problems as they did in the first leg, but ultimately it's defensively how they're going to be judged, I think, after that first leg, and it's not been a good start.
Southend 3, Rochdale 1. As Cucurella puts the ball into the PSG box, it drops at the edge of the area. Neto with the drive, and it hits and a Chelsea player. It came off Andre Santos, although he claims it didn't. Referee says it did, and it's therefore a goal kick, but that was fiercely struck by Pedro Neto from the edge of the area. May well have been on target too. Goal kick, 1-0 Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, felt as if it was heading towards the top corner actually from Pedro Neto. Caught it beautifully outside the area with his favoured left foot. Santos was adamant it didn't hit him, and it hit Pacho. The referee disagreed.
That's Dean Ashton, former England striker, alongside me, Ian Danta, here at Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea have even more to do than they did when the game kicked off. 6-2 on aggregate to Paris Saint-Germain, but Safonov, the goalkeeper for PSG, gives the ball away. Palmer rolls it out to the right wing, and Pedro Neto to the right-hand corner of the penalty area, just lays it off to Sarr. Now Chalobah finds Caicedo, but him and Santos getting a bit of a mess, and PSG bringing it away with Warren Zaire Emery. Moving up is Hakimi in space towards the edge of the area, squares it in field, but Barcola, 2-0, superb counter-attack from Paris Saint-Germain, and Barcola scores against Chelsea again, and the aggregate lead gets bigger and bigger, and Liam Rossigno's problems get bigger and bigger. 14 minutes gone. Bradley Barcola with a lovely finish, making it Chelsea 0, PSG 2.
Well, if the first goal was a mistake, this was anything but. It was just beautiful from PSG. They carved through Chelsea to open up the space for Barcola on the edge of the penalty area. He takes it out of his feet and he arrows it across Sanchez into the top corner. This is the Champions League. You will be punished if you give the best players that time, that space. Barcola did it brilliantly.
Such a sweet strike from a different part of the penalty area where his sweet strike scored against Chelsea at the Parc des Princes last week. So both his Champions League goals this season have come against the Blues of London. You're listening to Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2 in the Champions League. Live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Wherever it is, they're here for it. I'll tell you what this is. This is in danger of becoming an embarrassment for Chelsea. It's now a 7-2 aggregate lead for the Parisians. And they look in the mood tonight, don't they, Dean Ashton?
They certainly do. They would have come here confident because of those 5 goals and the manner they created against Chelsea in the first leg. They knew Chelsea had to come out. They sensed it as soon as there was a change in system that they're not used to. But take nothing away, Barcola, stunning finish. Right hand side of the penalty area, across into that left top corner. Absolutely stunning. And I think it says it all that the big screens here at Chelsea didn't bother to send a replay in, because they're that down about it too.
It's very true. It's very true. Ball was carried out of play by Nuno Mendes as he stumbled a little down the near touchline. Huddersfield 2, Lincoln City 1. The League One leaders get a goal back through an own goal from Josh Feeney. And elsewhere in League One, Luton have retaken the lead at home to Exeter. 2-1 to the Hatters. Jordan Clark with Luton's second. João Pedro just loses possession in the centre circle, but it still breaks for Pedro Neto down this near side, the Chelsea right. Moves into the midway point of the Paris Saint-Germain half, tucks it in field for Andres Santos. And now the PSG fans are booing when Chelsea are in possession on their own ground. Caicedo plays the ball into the feet of Palmer. Neat touch for Santos, who lays it back out to the right. And Pedro Neto can have a run at Nuno Mendes, gets inside his man. And then back comes Zaire Emery and turns it behind for a corner kick to Chelsea at the Matthew Harding. 17 gone, 2-0 PSG.
He's had a really good season, Pedro Neto. He's gone a little bit under the radar because of João Pedro. But he's been terrific. Always so positive. Really got at Mendes there, got past him. Well, there was a PSG defender waiting.
So Pedro Neto with another corner where the East Stand meets the Matthew Harding. Down to our right-hand side. Left-footed in-swinger right at the front post. Punched back towards Neto by the goalkeeper Safanov. Pedro Neto feints to cross once and then puts it in a second time. That's well defended by Pacho right in front of goal, and Caicedo will let the ball go out for a corner to Chelsea on the other side, which they might take quickly. Enzo Fernandez is just going to take his time actually over getting it back into play.
Yeah, they like that corner that's just drifted into the near post, curling in towards the goal. Try and tempt the goalkeeper in to come to his near post and punch.
And it comes from Enzo near post. Attempts flick on at the near post. It might drop for Caicedo at the far. Paris Saint-Germain managed to hook it clear, but straight back to the Chelsea left, and Enzo Fernandez has to come in field from the far touchline and give it back to Cucurella at the edge of the centre circle. Square ball to his left for Mamadou Sarr. Forced to go back to halfway. Almost forgot to take the ball with him, and he had Achraf Hakimi breathing down his neck. Sanchez finds Caicedo with a direct pass. 2-0 here to Paris Saint-Germain. 7-2 on aggregate. Reading equalise at Burton in League One. Kamari Doyle. Notts County 2-0 up at Accrington Stanley in League 2, and Oldham 2-0 up at Chesterfield. Here come Paris Saint-Germain again with Barcola firing the ball across the face of goal, but a comfortable save low down from Sanchez, under no real pressure from anybody steaming in like Dembele, but nevertheless more evidence, Dean Ashton, of how quickly PSG can spring on you.
Especially if you're looking to take risks, which Chelsea do, in the way that they play out. All in towards Fernandez, misplaced, and they were onto them straight away. 1-2 by Barcola. Gets himself into space, didn't quite look up to find a teammate, but again looking so dangerous when they turn over possession.
Well, Sarr just wins a free kick from Kvaratskhelia, having just turned away from the Georgian. Remember, there's other Champions League football live tonight. 0-0 still at Emirates Stadium between Arsenal and Bayer Leverkusen. 1-1 on aggregate from the first leg in Germany. And no goals at the Etihad either so far between Manchester City and Real Madrid. And Manchester City's task is the same at the start of the night as what Chelsea's was, needing 3 goals without reply. Here's Zaire Emery for Paris Saint-Germain. We played nearly 20 minutes on Talksport 2. Could not have gone much worse for Liam Rosenior in this opening quarter of the game. Marquinhos squares it for Pacho. Further square to the inside left channel And Nuno Mendes, now Vitinha, such a wonderful little schemer in the centre of midfield for Paris Saint-Germain. Marquinhos looks up and finds a lovely pass to find Zaire Emery, but his first touch let him down. Great vision from Marquinhos on that right-hand side to fire it fully 60 yards downfield, and it almost broke perfectly for Zaire Emery, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, stunning, wasn't it? Lovely bit of vision from Marquinhos. But again, that freedom that the PSG players are allowed to have. You talked about it right at the start of the game, Hakimi in the centre-forward position. There's freedom within this side to go and make a run from any position to try and dislodge the defence of Chelsea. And that was one of those runs from Zaire Emery. Brilliant ball from Marquinhos.
2-0 to Paris Saint-Germain here. 5-0 to Sporting against Bodo Glimt. So they have completely turned it around. Rafael Nel in added time at the end of extra time. That means Sporting will play the winners of Leverkusen and Arsenal, who are live on Talksport right now. And Manchester City are down to 10 men against Real Madrid, needing 3 goals. Bernardo Silva's been given his marching orders at the Etihad, making their task just as difficult as Chelsea's is right now, needing 5 goals, as Chelsea do, just to force extra time. Kvaratskhelia inside his own half, tight to this near touchline, gets dispossessed by Sarr, and then Neto hits the ball against his opposite number and wins Chelsea a throw, which he takes quickly. Sarr works it back into his own half for Chalobah. Dembele pressurises him, but Chalobah turns away neatly enough from the Frenchman and gives it back to Robert Sanchez. Left-footed clearance up towards halfway, but it just drifts over the head of João Pedro, and PSG can calmly work it back to their goalkeeper Safonov. Midway point approaching in the first half on Talksport 2. Chelsea already 2 goals down on the night, 7-2 down on aggregate. Neto works it back for Andre Santos. Plays a quick 1-2 with Chalobah on halfway. Neto coming in field from this right hand side, lays it into the centre circle for Enzo Fernandez. Quickly works it out left to the mop-haired Marc Cucurella. Infield it goes to Neto's come across to that left hand side for the moment. And Real Madrid have scored a penalty to go 4-0 up. Vinicius Junior, as in comes the cross from Palmer, and it's headed wide by a Chelsea player. I think it was João Pedro that got the final touch but didn't get enough on it. Dean Ashton, goal kick.
It's because it was such a sumptuous ball from Cole Palmer. It just teased Safonov, thinking he could get there, but I tell you what, brilliant leap from João Pedro. Just got ahead of his fist first to nod it just wide. Not sure he quite knew where he was really, as he was heading it back behind himself, João Pedro, as he's twisted in the air by Marquinhos, but a little bit more awareness there, and he just nods that into the empty net.
So Real Madrid 1-0 up at Manchester City through Vinicius Junior's penalty. Bernardo Silva sent off, presumably that is what led to the penalty. Bernardo Silva getting a straight red. Watford 2-0 up at home against Wrexham in the Championship. Edo Kayembe for the Hornets. And Bodo Glimt are out. Sporting have won 5-0. Here's João Pedro for Chelsea. Up to the edge of the D. Tries a shot. Not too much power on it. It was blocked at source anyway by Pacho. But it comes back Chelsea's way. Down the left-hand side. Cucurella tries to put the ball across the face of goal. But Barcola gets back and toe ends it behind for a Chelsea corner. Chelsea 2-0 down here.
It's almost an odd watch in a way, because Chelsea have been the better team. They have had control of the game. Yet they've just been punished severely twice.
And it will be Neto that goes across to help Enzo Fernandez with that corner kick. There's 2 balls on the pitch for the moment, and the referee wants that second ball cleared before the legitimate corner's allowed, because Chelsea did start to play a short corner. Now Neto's moved away, so Enzo Fernandez will strike this into the 18-yard box. Right-footed in-swinger, where the West Ham meets the Matthew Harding. In it comes from the Chelsea captain, flat and low into the near post, straight to Achraf Hakimi. And Dembele in the right-back position just hoofs it clear. Nobody in a red PSG shirt on halfway. Tranmere 0, Harrogate 3. The bottom side in League 2, 3 goals clear now at Prenton Park. Another for Chance Hedman. And AFC Wimbledon equalise at home to Leyton Orient through Junior and Keng. AFC Wimbledon 1, Leyton Orient 1 in the London derby at Plough Lane. Here in West London, well, you can tell by the lack of atmosphere from the 3 stands at this ground what's been going on. Not a lot from Chelsea's point of view. Paris Saint-Germain 2-0 up on the night, 7-2 up on aggregate. And here they go again with the man that scored the second, Bradley Barcola. Under pressure from Andre Santos on that knee side. They both fall to a heap over the touchline. But it's a throw-in that's been given Chelsea's way. Peterborough go 2-0 up now on Rotherham in League One. Jimmy J. Morgan with the second for the Posh. And Rotherham struggling in 22nd, 5 points adrift of Wigan outside the drop zone. Pedro Neto for Chelsea. Up to halfway. Joao Pedro trying to work it first time down the inside right channel for Cole Palmer, but it was intercepted. And the red shirts of PSG get it back. Zaire Emery under a bit of pressure from Caicedo. Referee was about to blow his whistle for a free kick, but then thought better of it as the Parisians kept possession. Ball floated down the right-hand side. It will break for Vitinha, but that's well defended, or at least it was well defended at first. And Sanchez has to prevent a corner by heading it out of play for a throw. It was Andre Santos who apologises to his keeper for getting the pass back all wrong. Throw into Paris Saint-Germain on their right.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great clearance by Hakimi. Vitinha it was that burst out of his holding midfield role down the right-hand side. And you're right, Santos did brilliantly to start with, and then just shanked the back pass to Sanchez, and you had to come rushing across and head it out.
Vitinha collects the throw. Work back to Marquinhos. And now Pacho inside the centre circle. Has Nuno Mendes just backwards of square of him. Receives the ball now. Gives it to Zaire Emery. Faced up immediately down this left-hand side by Mamadou Sarr. Chelsea got it half clear, but one back by the visitors. Kvaratskhelia. Neat little ball in field for Zaire Emery, who drives towards the edge of the penalty area. Out to the left-hand side, and Nuno Mendes. Now back for Vitinha. Just next to the centre circle. João Neves takes over. And worked out by Dembele, who's playing in a very strange position at the moment. Sort of right wing back at the moment. Very fluid the way that PSG work their positions, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I think it is risky at times, the way PSG do let their players roam, because if they do lose the ball, there are gaps. But it doesn't really matter, does it? When you're 7-2 ahead on aggregate, you can have a bit more freedom to your play.
They are clear at the top of Liga as well, and will be very keen to retain their trophy. Work back to Marquinhos. Northampton equalise at Stockport in League One. Cameron McGeehan makes it Stockport 1, Northampton 1. Remember, we've got more live Champions League football for you tomorrow. Newcastle at Barcelona at tea time. And then we'll also bring you Tottenham against Atletico Madrid at 8 o'clock here on Talksport 2 from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And Spurs have got a 3-goal cushion, well, a 3-goal deficit rather, to make up from their first leg. Here's Marquinhos for Paris Saint-Germain as we approach the half-hour mark here at Stamford Bridge. Marquinhos just almost tempts João Pedro to try and get close to him, then rolls it back to Safonov, and his ball downfield's headed back over the halfway line by Hato. Oh, lovely close control from Vitinha, and then cuts out Palmer with an infield pass, and it's worked out left for Kvaratskhelia, who's got Mamadou Sarr backpedaling as he gets to the left-hand corner of the area, cuts infield. He's not going to have a shot quite yet, the Georgian. Now he's running away from danger as Chelsea funnel players behind the ball. Vitinha has it again, plays it out to the inside left channel and Nuno Mendes. Now back for Vitinha. Marquinhos strokes it out to the right-hand side, and every completed pass is getting a cheer as Dembele, still out in that strange withdrawn right-hand side position, works it back again to the captain Marquinhos. Vitinha now picks it up just shy of halfway. Plays a short 1-2 with Nuno Mendes. Now the boos are going up round Stamford Bridge because Paris Saint-Germain are keeping such prolonged possession, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, they're showing their quality is what they're doing. Like I said, this is a serious outfit, and they're in almost.
Long ball down the field from Marquinhos, almost got Nuno Mendes in there, but Chalobah rose and managed to head it clear. João Pedro just inside the PSG half, out to the left-hand side, and Cucurella. Wigan lead at Barnsley in the 8 o'clock kickoff. Wigan just clear of the drop zone. Lead at Oakwell through Joe Taylor. The ball's on halfway with Chelsea in possession. Caicedo got options left and right, just rolling his foot on the ball a couple of times. Now it's back for Chalobah. Sarr picks it up now, faced up by Zaire Emery and Barcola. So it goes up to halfway, and João Pedro. Sarr again, still inside his own half. Rolls the ball out to the right-hand touchline, and Neto tries to scheme his way inside Kvaratskhelia. Did enough. João Pedro inside right channel, lofts it into the middle, just over the head of Neto, hooked away by Marquinhos. And Paris Saint-Germain will try and bring it clear, but that's a poor pass. Well, it looked like a poor pass initially for Nuno Mendes, but it turned into a decent ball. And now they've worked it out to the left-hand side, and Bradley Barcola into the area. He lays it back for Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia plays a 1-2. Oh, the flag goes up to deny a third. It may well have been offside when Kvaratskhelia rolled it into the feet of a teammate. Finished it quite sensationally with such coolness, but I'm pretty sure the flag was rightly raised.
Yeah, definitely. Hakimi was clearly offside. He'd actually stopped being part of the play. Kvaratskhelia still played it into him. He laid it back and he finished really nicely. But I tell you what, they are so devastating on the break, PSG, when they put 2 or 3 passes together.
Barcola just turns away from Chalobah, herring towards the area. Left-hand side, pulls it wide across the face of goal with his left foot. But the touch to get away from Chalobah, he made it look so easy, Bradley Barcola, but he sold Trevor Chalobah right down the river with that turn. But the run of the shot didn't match the initial turn.
No, well, I mean, look, he shouldn't have been able to get away that easily. There's no way Chalobah should be even thinking about trying to nip in and take that ball because he's the last man. Barcola with a beautiful touch gets away. And then I tell you what, he's thankful, Chalobah, to his centre-back teammate Hato, who got around very quickly just to make it difficult for Barcola, who then actually rushed and snatched his left-footed shot horribly wide.
That's Dean Ashton alongside me, Ian Dante. You're listening to Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2 in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. AFC Wimbledon take a lead just before half-time at home to Leyton Orient. A second of the night for Junior and Kang puts them back in front. And Gateshead, who are doing their level best to get out of trouble towards the foot of the National League, lead Wealdstone by a 1-0 up in the northeast. Ashley Boatswain putting them in front right on half-time. Ball's back with Robert Sanchez, bowls it out to Trevor Chalobah. Now Mamadou Sarr. Quick ball in field to Cole Palmer, who's immediately got João Neves at his back. Had a bit of too much of a nibble at Cole Palmer there, and referee gave a free kick to Chelsea inside their own half of the field, defending the shed end in this first half. And it's not been a good first half at all for this revamped Chelsea side, both in terms of personnel and in terms of system. Playing 3 at the back tonight, and Dean Ashton alongside me explained where that would give them benefit, but also where that would cause them problems. Although in fairness, the problems haven't really come necessarily from out wide, have they, Dean?
Not really, but they've been stretched, haven't they, that back 3, because Sarr and Hato feel like they have to go out wide to try and help, leave Chalobah exposed, and they've taken advantage of that, Paris Saint-Germain. But difficult, really difficult as a player, as a Chelsea player. You almost know it's gone. They're super confident and bopping it around. How do you get yourselves going and still put in a performance now? Well, look around. Look how many people have turned out, paid their money to be here. you put absolutely everything in till the end of the game at the very least.
Kvaratskhelia brings the ball out of the sky superbly, running down the left-hand side. Again, he's faced up by Mamadou Sarr, level with the 18-yard line, jockeys him, goes infield. Zaire Emery rolls it back into the centre of the half for João Neves. Thought about a shot for a moment, then plays it to Dembele, right-hand corner of the area. Finds João Neves with a first-time shot, but it's well saved by Sanchez. Just let the ball run across his body, João Neves, and tried to slide it in left-footed, but the power didn't help him, and it was a comfortable save in the end. Now João Pedro trying to make a use of himself at the other end. Does really well and drives it against the goalkeeper. Comes off his chest and goes behind for a corner kick. Well, it was good work from João Pedro. Good out-muscling of the defender, but the angle was tight for the shot. Corner Chelsea.
Well, I mean, that was all his own work. Sanchez it was with the big clearance early. João Pedro against Pacho. Just too strong and too quick for him. Gets in, tight angle, hits the goalkeeper.
Here's Enzo Fernandez. Corner. Oh, Safanov went for the punch and missed it. And the ball goes out of play. But again, the referee's given a free kick for PSG in their own 18-yard box. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. So don't forget, tomorrow we've got Barcelona Newcastle. Dean's going to be alongside Joe Shenner for commentary on that one at 5:45, and then a choice of listening at 8. Liverpool 1-0 down against Galatasaray. That's live on Talksport with Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce. And myself and Alvin Martin will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for Tottenham's second leg against Atletico Madrid, as Arsenal take the lead over on Talksport against Bayer Leverkusen. Eberechi Eze makes it 1-0 to the Gunners, 2-1 on aggregate. Back here at Stamford Bridge, Kvaratskhelia making a nuisance of himself once again down the PSG left, but Mamadou Sarr does well this time. Now he's turning away at his own dead ball line, manages to roll the ball down this near touchline to Cole Palmer, and Chelsea will clear up to João Pedro. Have to run back deep into his own half to keep possession. Then Palmer looks to float it down the right for Pedro Neto, and Nuno Mendes elected to put it straight out of play for a throw to Chelsea. Well, lots of European football on Thursday night as well. Midtjylland against Nottingham Forest at tea time here on Talksport 2. Alex Crook and Darren Ambrose. And then Aston Villa against Lille at 8 o'clock on Talksport on Thursday night. Sam Matterface and Andy Townsend will be your commentary team for that one. Villa, arguably the only English club in Europe last week that gave a half-decent account of themselves. Ball's out of play for a Chelsea throw. 10 yards from the corner flag right-hand side, with Chelsea attacking the Matthew Harding end in this first half. It's worked back to halfway, and Trevor Chalobah. Now Caicedo trying to burst through a couple of challenges. Rolls it out to the right, and Pedro Neto infield for Cole Palmer. Quick feet from Cole Palmer, trying to get away down the right-hand side. Puts a left-footed ball into the near post, headed away by Nuno Mendes. And then it's intercepted by João Neves. Vitinha finds Marquinhos. First time clearance up to halfway, but it won't reach Dembele. Andre Santos finds Cole Palmer, who's offside. And PSG will get a free kick. 6.5 minutes to the break on Talksport 2. On the night, it's Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2. That makes it 7-2 on aggregate to the Parisians. Dean Ashton's with me tonight.
And they've been very much in the game, Chelsea. But I tell you what, the difference is just that extra quality that PSG have got, that devastating counter-attacking ability. They showed it in the first leg towards the end of the game. They've shown it early on here at Stamford Bridge to make it so comfortable for themselves.
Back it goes to Nuno Mendes. And then Pacho with a left-footed clearance just over the head of Vitinha. Headed down by Chalobah for Caicedo. Looked like he was laying it back to the referee then, but he was actually laying it back to Hato on halfway. Now Andre Santos trying to burst through the midfield. He's held up by Zaire Emery, so it's worked out to Cucurella on the left-hand side. Enzo Fernandez, the captain, knocks it down for Mamadou Sarr. Now Cole Palmer on the right-hand side. You can hear somebody with a whistle in the crowd. It'd do my head in if I was stood next to that fellow with a whistle. Must do the referee's head in.
I think some of the players have half stopped a couple of times as well with that whistle. He's keeping it to the beat, to be fair to.
Well, that's the least of my worries. Ball's back with Safanov, the keeper. Has to clear an awkward bouncing ball. Does well to get it up to halfway, though. And Cole Palmer collects the loose pass for Chelsea and works it back to the back three. Sarr on the right of that back three elects to go back to Sanchez. Right-footed clearance drilled up to halfway, but sort of in between where Palmer and Neto were stood. And so PSG have it again.
I mean, ultimately, if you're looking at Liam Rosenior and how he approached this game, he changed the system. You would have to say it didn't work because they've been carved open a couple of times by PSG. And although there's been some neat and tidy patterns between the forward players, they haven't really created the clear-cut chances. And therefore, you have to answer, would it have been better to have stuck with matching PSG up?
It does make you wonder. History's littered with times where clubs and international sides have changed to three at the back and it's not worked for them. Here's Cole Palmer, edge of the area for Chelsea. Shot saved, comes out to Hato, and he couldn't get his foot behind the ball. It was turned behind for a corner. Suddenly Cole Palmer bought himself half a yard of space at the edge of the box, and it was a good save down low to his right from Safanov. Corner to Chelsea. Taken quickly by Enzo Fernandez. Gets it back from Pedro Neto, but the cross into the box is cleared away by Pacho.
So good, isn't he, at that? Cole Palmer just picking up that space in behind João Pedro, who again stretched the play.
Here's Cole Palmer again.
Yeah.
Getting towards the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Fernandez just outside of him. Neto gives it back to Palmer down the left-hand side of the area. Flag stays down. Cross is deflected behind. Corner kick. Manchester City equalise through Erling Haaland against Real Madrid. That's 1-1 on the night. But that's 4-1 on aggregate still to Real Madrid. And Manchester City are down to 10 with Bernardo Silva sent off. Another corner for Chelsea. Worked infield by Enzo Fernandez to Neto. Now Cucurella teases the ball to the far post. Headed across the area by Chalobah. And then up at the far post went João Pedro. And again an acrobatic save down to his right by Safanov. Means another Chelsea corner.
Yeah, terrific again from Safanov. Not as good as that first save from Cole Palmer, who tried to play it through his feet of the defender's legs, so he saw it late. Brilliant save.
Another short corner, doesn't come off, and now Barcola is clear and away down the right-hand side. And this red shirt's trying to keep up with him, but Barcola's gone into the box alone. Can he put it past Sanchez? Good save by the keeper. Turns it behind for a corner kick. Suddenly it was 4-on-3 as Paris Saint-Germain broke, as the Chelsea corner routine broke down. But Barcola was denied by Sanchez. Corner to the Parisians. They're 2-0 up.
Well, something's not right in the setup, is it? If one ball down the side opens you up and there's no players there to defend, Barcola has got serious turbocharged acceleration, hasn't he? Got himself away from Palmer. And Cucurella's got to come across, and he didn't.
Here's Vitinha as the corner's worked into midfield. Vitinha went for goal and it whistles over the crossbar. Sanchez had it covered, I think. Goal kick to Chelsea at the shed end as we enter the last 90 seconds of normal time at the end of this first half on Talksport 2. 2-0 to Paris Saint-Germain on the night. 7-2 on aggregate to the holders of this trophy. João Pedro gamely giving chase down the left-hand side, and he'll get to the loose ball. Level with the 18-yard line, faced up by Pacho. Everything to his right. Gets away from Pacho neatly. Won't put the crossing quite yet. Gets very tight to the byline. Goes down wanting a penalty. And the referee says goal kick. There are a few Chelsea fans around us who thought he was pointing to the penalty spot. But no, he was pointing at the 6-yard line. And Pedro very slowly picks himself up and holds his arms out to his side as if to say, what's all that about?
Well, he does brilliantly. João Pedro gets himself into a great position. Squeezes away from Pacho as he gets towards the byline, and then I think he tries to win this. He stops. Pacho obviously runs slightly into the back of him. He falls over. It's all his own doing, João Pedro. There isn't actually a challenge in there. Well done, the referee.
Back it goes to Willian Pacho, and now Marquinhos at the edge of his own 18-yard line. Hakimi, who's such a Champions League veteran now with the spells he's had with Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich before he came to Paris Saint-Germain. Achraf Hakimi. Plays it down the left-hand side. Kvaratskhelia can't get the better of Sarr. Sarr coming in field from the halfway line. Keeps it away from Barcola. Tucked back by Hato to Sanchez. And we're just moving into 1 minute of minimum added time. But that's a poor clearance from Sanchez under pressure from Kvaratskhelia. Throw into Paris Saint-Germain right next to where Luis Enrique, who looks very stylish this evening in his three-quarter length coat, hands the ball to Nuno Mendes, who gets the ball back into play into his own half.
I think they've seriously earmarked, whether it would have been Jorgensen or Sanchez or whoever did play in goal for Chelsea, to look to pressurise the goalkeeper. I think especially Sanchez, he's either had to go long or he's made a couple of mistakes with his feet because they put that pressure on.
Back it goes at the other end to Safanov, the PSG keeper. Clearance up to halfway. Cucurella beats Dembele to the ball, lands in the centre circle, and there goes the half-time whistle. And there are muted boos around Stamford Bridge, as you might imagine, because Paris Saint-Germain have only increased their aggregate lead that they held at the end of the first leg. And tormentor-in-chief Kvicha Kvaratskhelia is at it again. He scored the opener after bullying Mamadou Sarr just at the edge of the area and then slotting it neatly past Robert Sanchez to put Paris Saint-Germain one up on the night, and therefore 6-2 on aggregate. And not long after, it became 7-2 on aggregate. Wonderful sweeping counter-attack move down the right, put in field for Bradley Barcola, and a really sweet finish into the top corner that gave Sanchez no chance at all. Chelsea had their moments going forward, and Safanov's been called into action a couple of times in the Paris Saint-Germain goal. But there's a huge feeling of anticlimax as the half-time whistle goes, Dean Ashton.
Well, look, it was always going to be a huge task anyway, and if they were going to at least give themselves a chance or keep the supporters on side and build some momentum and some energy inside Stamford Bridge, it was about staying in it for as long as you can. Even if it is 3-0 for a long period of time, at least there could then be a real fight towards the end. But to make a mistake the way Mamadou Sarr did so early on and gift Kvaratskhelia that early goal, it's inexcusable really at this level, and it just sapped any belief or energy out of the stadium. You could sense that straight away. PSG were comfortable and then just picked them off for the second goal, and Chelsea haven't really got anywhere else to go. Yes, they've been pretty game, Chelsea, and you're right, Safanov has made a couple of saves, in particular the one from Cole Palmer that took a slight deflection and made it more difficult for him. But a really difficult half coming up for Chelsea with the position that they're in.
When you struggle, when you're losing as Chelsea are, people will look at the system and they will say, why has Liam Rosenior chosen tonight to change everything up? Or was there a genuine reason to switch to three at the back because of the paucity of options he felt he had in defence tonight? Bringing in Sarr, for example.
Well, I'm sure he will be asked those questions in the press conference afterwards, because it is a big call to change it, especially with the personnel he had, to change it so what feels like quite drastically for such a massive game. Now, he will have had his reasons. They might have looked at how they can benefit from that extra player in the middle of the pitch, which they have done now and again. But it's a big ask still to ask two 20-year-olds either side of Chalobah to get it absolutely right against the very best. We're talking about the very best in PSG. Attacking wise, so difficult to stop, even when you've got your best team who all know what they're doing and well organised.
So I guess it's a question now of how much PSG want to extend the aggregate lead still further, how willing they are to go through the gears, or whether they just want to, drop down a couple of gears to second or third and cruise through the rest of this encounter.
Probably, but they've got an array of talent just waiting in the wings to freshen things up as well, who will want their chance to shine on the Champions League stage. So it isn't going to get any easier regardless of what happens. I think for Chelsea it's about pride. It's about recognising there's a lot of people turned out for this game. You've got to give them something to feel positive about in the second half.
Chelsea, as it stands, are going out of the Champions League certainly with a whimper and not with a bang, because a couple of bangers from Paris Saint-Germain in this first half have increased the aggregate lead to 5. At the break here on Talksport 2, with the second half to come, it is Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2, 7-2 on aggregate to the Parisians with 45 minutes to play.
Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Frustrating is printing a recipe where the quality fades with every ingredient. Smart is a printer that delivers high-quality ink over time. Stressful is your printer choosing check-in day to check out of ink. Smart is an HP Smart Tank with 3 years of cartridge-free ink. Oh, that's smart. So go on, search HP Smart Tank. Find the last printer you'll ever need.
You've arrived, your dream holiday. You got there for less thanks to comparing flight prices on Kayak. An idyllic local restaurant nestled in the cliffs. A peaceful pool with your own private sunbed. This is the life. All you have to do is actually book it. Don't holidays. Use Kayak to compare flight prices from hundreds of travel sites and bag a great deal. Search Kayak and go see for yourself.
This was my reaction to the Making Tax Digital self-assessment and the fact that as of April, I have to file my taxes every quarter. No! Please, no! But now I use Anna Money, it's more like, oh that, yeah, all sorted. Didn't even have to think about it. Anna does your MTD self-assessment for free. You just sign up, connect your bank account, and that's it. Everything happens automatically. Search Anna Money to find out more.
Can you hear that? That's your next adventure calling, and it's ready to book at Break Free Holidays. With deposits from just £10 per booking, it's never been easier. We bring all your favourite holiday hotspots into one place. Grab exclusive deals on UK and European holiday parks. Go on, break free at breakfreeholidays.co.uk. Terms and conditions apply.
Meet iPhone 17e, a whole lot for a lot less, with an almighty all-powerful A19 chip, and Ceramic Shield 2, built to survive this, and a 48-megapixel fusion camera with 2 times optical quality zoom and next-gen portraits, and double the starting storage of iPhone 16e, and long-lasting battery life for hours and hours of streaming. And you can charge it with USB-C or with MagSafe accessories, and a whole lot more, all for a lot less. Get the new iPhone 17e today. Ceramic Shield 2 on front display. Battery life varies by use. Accessories sold separately, priced compared to iPhone 17 at apple.com/UK.
My beans have been to Mexico. They once went to Peru. My beans, they flew to Portugal, then went to Tuvalu. My beans were with me in Italy, then came with me to Greece. I slurped their sauce on Spanish shores. I nibbled them in Nice. My Heinz beans have seen the world. They've travelled far and wide, because they are, as we all know, too good to leave behind.
Okay, let me stop you there, sir. You still have to check them into the hold.
Oh, all right then. Honestly. Beans means Heinz.
Online, on DAB+, and on the app.
This is Talksport 2. Feel the heat with a fiery Friday night double on Talksport and Talksport 2. From 8, Bournemouth go head-to-head with Manchester United in the Premier League on Talksport as Preston take on Stoke in the Championship on Talksport 2. Red-hot Friday night football on Talksport and Talksport 2. Ouch.
It's another massive day of football action here on Talksport, and fur is quite literally expected to fly. So let's take a quick look at today's pedigree lineup. At the back, oh, no surprises here. John Terrier,
best in show football coverage.
And Kyle Wilkins
on the radio station that's the absolute dogs.
Oh, superb tackle.
Fans' best friend.
They've come from behind to lead.
Talksport.
Back to you in the studio while I just clean this off my shoe.
Established and excellent evening star of football.
Kick-off live on Talksport 2.
Driven downfield by the keeper, Safanov, looking for Kvaratskhelia, trying to get in behind Sarr, and Kvaratskhelia scores! That's probably tie over straight away. Well, Mamadou Sarr's only 20, and he has been physically bullied by Kvaratskhelia. You know, you've got that belief, and then it's been dented so early. PSG bringing it away with Warren Zaire-Emery. Moving up is Hakimi in space towards the edge of the area. Squares it in field, but Barcola, 2-0. Superb counter-attack from Paris Saint-Germain, and Barcola scores against Chelsea again.
This is the Champions League. You will be punished if you give the best players that time, that space. Barcola did it brilliantly.
This is in danger of becoming an embarrassment for Chelsea. It's now a 7-2 aggregate lead for the Parisians. So that's the halftime score here on Talksport 2 at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2, 7-2 on aggregate. A reminder that Chelsea's worst ever European result was a 7-1 aggregate defeat 6 years ago against Bayern Munich. They will not want to eclipse that in the second half. Let me run you through the scores elsewhere. In the Champions League, half-time at Emirates Stadium, live on TalkSport, Arsenal 1-0 up against Leverkusen. So 2-1 up on aggregate. Eberechi Eze with the goal there. Manchester City 1, Real Madrid 1 at the Etihad. But Manchester City are down to 10 men. Bernardo Silva sent off. And Vinicius Jr. scored from a penalty. Erling Haaland with an equaliser, but that's still 4-1 to the Madridistas. And Manchester City have got to try and mount a comeback with one player fewer. Sporting went through after extra time against Bodo Glimt. What a comeback from the Portuguese side. 3-0 down from the first leg. They scored 3 goals in 90 minutes to force extra time, and then 2 more in extra time. And as things stand, they will face Arsenal in the quarter-finals. Elsewhere tonight, in the Championship, there's just one game. Watford 2, Wrexham 1. Wrexham have just got back into it through Max Cleworth at Vicarage Road. 2-0 to Watford at half-time, but that's now 2-1 early in the second half. In League 1, most of these games are well into the second half. Wimbledon 2, Leyton Orient 2, forgive me. AFC Wimbledon 2, Leyton Orient 2. Blackpool 1, Port Vale 1. Bolton 0, Doncaster 0. Bradford 0, Mansfield 1. Burton 1, Reading 1. Cardiff 0, Wickham 0. But Cardiff are down to 10. Gabi Osho sent off just before half-time. Huddersfield 2, Lincoln 1. The leaders behind at the John Smiths. It's now Luton 3, Exeter 2. Exeter have just scored a second through Ilmari Niskanen at Kenilworth Road, but Luton still ahead. Peterborough 2, Rotherham 0. Plymouth 0, Stevenage 0. Stockport 1, Rotherham 1. And half-time in the 8 o'clock at Oakwell, Barnsley 0, Wigan 1. In League 2, well into the second half in the 7:30 kick-off at Rodney Parade. Newport 0, Bromley 0. The leaders still level with the side who just got themselves out of the bottom 3 at the weekend. Accrington 0, Notts County 2. Bristol Rovers 0, Shrewsbury 0. Cheltenham 0, Crewe 0. Chesterfield 0, Oldham 2. Crawley 0, Barnet 0. Gillingham 0, Swindon 0. Grimsby 0, Fleetwood 0. Fleetwood under new management tonight. Salford 1, Barrow 0. Tranmere 0, Harrogate 3. And Walsall 0, Cambridge 0. And in the National League tonight, Solihull have just taken the lead at lowly Brackley. Gateshead beating Wealdstone by a goal to 0. Southend 3, Rochdale 1. Truro City 1, Scunthorpe 2. And Woking 1, Yeovil 0. Those are the latest scores this Tuesday evening. You're listening to the Champions League live on TalkSport with Enterprise, TalkSport 2 even, with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Well, over on TalkSport, I mentioned Arsenal currently heading into the Champions League quarter-finals. They lead Bayer Leverkusen 1-0 on the night, 2-1 on aggregate at half-time. Eberechi Eze with the only goal of the game in the Emirates. This was how it sounded with Andy Townsend alongside Jim Proudfoot on commentary.
Eze! Wow, what a goal! Eberechi Eze on the turn, whacks it in. And the Emirates alive through celebration.
Oh, what a hit!
Eberechi Eze, the man that's broken the deadlock, chesting it down, 25 yards out, and rifled one with minimal backlift on the turn. Blasvik's been in inspirational form. He didn't even smell it. And Eze has given Arsenal the lead on the night and on aggregate. Arsenal 1, Bayer Leverkusen 0. One of the great Arsenal Champions League goals.
Sounds like a standard tap-in then, Dean, for Eberechi Eze.
It was good. We've seen it here. That's stunning.
And what an atmosphere that sounds there at Emirates Stadium. Meanwhile, the Chelsea players have been sent out early with a flea in their ear from their manager. No sign of the Paris Saint-Germain players yet. And I can see Josh Achiampong just doing a few short passes with João Pedro. So he's clearly coming on for the start of the second half. And I'm thinking it's Mamadou Sarr that is being withdrawn at half-time, Dean Ashton, which, I mean, what can you say? I mean, he's a young kid. His confidence would have been a little bit knocked by what Kvaratskhelia did to him early on in the game. And then to be taken off at half-time, he's going to need an arm around the shoulder.
Yeah, of course. But look, this is a ruthless environment. And, you know, it doesn't wait for any one player. Of course, I'm sure, be looked after. You have to get over that. We're not quite sure of the reasonings behind it, or whether it is a slight admission from Liam Rossini that maybe that system was the wrong decision. We will see how they set up in the second half.
Yeah. This game is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Out come the red shirts of Paris Saint-Germain. Don't forget, we've got 3 more games for you tomorrow. Barcelona against Newcastle at 5:45 here on Talksport 2, which will be followed by Spurs against Atletico Madrid here at 8, whilst over on Talksport at 8, Liverpool against Galatasaray. Goals elsewhere, Cheltenham lead against Crewe. Jake Bickerstaff for the Robins. Southend 3, Rochdale 2. The leaders of the National League aren't done yet at Roots Hall. Crawley 0, Barnet 1. Crawley struggling, no win in 8. And they trail at home to Barnet. Mark Shelton with the goal. And Plymouth, who were only 3 points off 6th at the start of the night, lead Stevenage at home park through Matthias Ross, just shy of the hour mark. So that change has been confirmed, and it is definitely a back four for Chelsea as the second half gets underway. Dean Ashton, Achiampong on for Mamadou Sarr. Achiampong's gone straight to right back, so it will be a flat back four from this point on, it seems.
Yeah, and again, I think, of course, the manager has the right to change back, and if he feels like it was the wrong decision, I'm sure he'll explain that after the game. But we match each other up in this second half.
So Chelsea attacking the shed end as João Pedro wins a free kick. Let me run you through the lineups quickly. Sanchez then in goal for Chelsea. It's now Achiampong, Chalobah, Hato and Cucurella at the back four. Santos and Caicedo holding. Palmer, Fernandes, Neto and João Pedro. And for Paris Saint-Germain, Safanov the keeper. A back four of Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Mendes. Zaire, Emery, Vitinha and Neves in midfield. Barcola, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia in attack. Stockport retake the lead against Northampton Town. Kyle Wootton makes it Stockport 2, Northampton 1. And Port Vale have gone back ahead at Blackpool, the bottom side of League One, 2-1 up now through Reece Walters. Chelsea at the edge of the Paris Saint-Germain box. And I know Jason Cundy's here. I wonder if... I know he's not doing the sports bar tonight because he did drive earlier on Talksport, but I bet Jamie O'Hara will be saying, did you draw the second half? Just to wind him up.
He seems to be dodging that show just at the right time, Jace, doesn't
What
he?
are you saying? Good Lord, what are you accusing the man of? Sports bar will be here on Talksport at the end of all the action tonight for you to react to it. So Chelsea fans, get your calls in and let Jamie O'Hara know what next. And it's Jermaine Pennant who's alongside Jamie tonight from 10 p.m, or just after 10 p.m. on Talksport, once Adrian and the team have picked the bones out of everything that's gone on tonight, including our live games. Arsenal 1-0 up into the second half against Bayer Leverkusen. But Chelsea with this thankless task of trying to find 5 goals without reply. But here's Pedro Neto sprinting down the left-hand side of the penalty area, rolls it back. João Pedro let it run, thinking it was going to run into the path of Enzo Fernandez, who gets it in the end. There was just a toe-in from a Paris Saint-Germain player to keep it away from the Chelsea captain. Now he finds Cucurella onside at the edge of the 18-yard line. Into João Pedro. Now Cole Palmer looking to get a bit of space. It's all a bit congested around the edge of the D. Worked out to the right-hand side of Achiampong, driving past Kvaratskhelia, but then the Georgian gets back at him and wins possession. But then he loses out as he tries to run around Cole Palmer. Caicedo to the right-hand corner of the box, tries to chip it into the area for Enzo Fernandez. Didn't do enough. And neat little switch from Nuno Mendes, and he's hurt himself the left back, as he's cleared the ball downfield. He wasn't caught by anybody. I was watching him. He went down as soon as he caught it. Or was he trying to fall? He's just got back up like he's recovered, like this the greatest comeback since Lazarus. Because he went down and it looked in excruciating pain. He wasn't caught.
Well, I think he felt as if, as sometimes they do, follow through with the clearance into a player that's not making a challenge. Still feeling like he wanted the free kick, but you're right, the way he acted to how quickly he was up didn't match.
What a game, just south and east of here at Plough Lane. AFC Wimbledon 2, Leyton Orient 3 now. Leyton Orient back in front through James Morris. Remember, Leyton Orient started the night just 4 points clear of the relegation zone. By the way, if you think the referee's just having a lot of fun out there and blowing his whistle for fun, it's not him. It's somebody in the Paris Saint-Germain end away to our left in the shed end who's, should we say, a bit whistle happy away to our left-hand side. Ball's back in the centre circle for Chelsea with Moises Caicedo and Jarell Hato. Back it goes to Trevor Chalobah. Enzo Fernandez finds Caicedo again. Now Andre Santos got a bit of space to operate in the centre circle. Drifts away from Vitinha. Cole Palmer, lovely half turn from him. Neto wants it played out to him on this near side, the left. But Palmer is using him initially as a bit of a decoy, then finds him. Gives it back to Cole Palmer, who strokes it back for Chalobah on the halfway line. Keeps it away from Dembele. At Champong on the right-hand side. We'll give it infield to Caicedo. Vitinha tracking the run as Caicedo chips the ball out to Pedro Neto on this near side, approaching the left-hand corner of the penalty area. A couple of step-overs from Neto. Cucurella out there with him on this near side. Back it goes infield to Caicedo. Very patient from Chelsea. Cole Palmer up to the edge of the area, goes down under pressure. No foul, says the referee, and then he handled the ball, Cole Palmer, giving a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain. Played to the whistle, I guess, because there was an incident in the Championship on Saturday where Birmingham defender Jack Robinson picked the ball up and a penalty was awarded to Sheffield United.
Very true. I think Palmer did play to the whistle, but was it the right one? I'm not sure.
Very good point.
But ultimately, I think it was a foul, because I think he was fouled 3 times. Just a tug of one, a little stab at his Achilles on the other, and then he went down, probably with the softest challenge. The referee should have seen that before. I think that's what Enzo Fernandez is trying to say.
Now Enzo Fernandez is deep in conversation with the Slovenian referee. And I think the Slovenian referee is just telling the Chelsea captain to tell his players to knock it off. Never mind respect the ball, respect the officials. Ball chipped down the left-hand side as Chelsea try and get Pedro Neto going again. Has to get round Hakimi. Hakimi's staying goal side for the moment. Ball tucked in field for Joao Pedro, but he's got 3 Paris Saint-Germain shirts around him, and it's eventually won back and given back to Safonov, who clears hurriedly under pressure from Joao Pedro. Bounces on the halfway line. Chalobah loses out, or as Nuno Mendes broke, play was brought back for a foul on Chalobah on halfway, and that has been a great help to Chelsea, because that was suddenly a lightning quick break for Paris Saint-Germain, 2-0 up.
Oh, how quick was he onto it as well, Nuno Mendes. He's rapido. Unfortunate for Chelsea. And you can just see Paris Saint-Germain are just cruising. They're just sitting in a little bit more, allowing Chelsea lots of the possession.
In the centre circle, Andre Santos trying to find Enzo Fernandez. Lots of feet going in. Marquinhos trying to win the ball high up. Back goes Barcola, and there's another Chelsea free kick for a heavy challenge just shy of the halfway line. Now, free kick's going to be taken inside the centre circle for Chelsea. Paris Saint-Germain have made a change as well. João Neves went off at half-time, and Seni Mayulu has come on to replace him. Paris Saint-Germain Academy graduate. Some talk about whether he might stick around at the Parc des Princes. Just 19 years of age, Mayulu. There is a Paris Saint-Germain player down.
Yeah, it's Barcola that went into a challenge after the referee had already given a free kick in the centre circle, as if he might have just twisted his ankle slightly.
Yeah, the free spray was definitely out there, wasn't it? In the centre of the Chelsea half.
Normally does the trick.
What about the magic sponge? Can't be the magic sponge.
It's just basically anything to numb it, I think was the idea.
Well, Reece James would probably wish he was out there. I mean, look, you remember in your playing career, you had your fair share of bad luck with injuries, and there's Reece James out again for another unspecified period of time.
Oh, it's soul destroying.
You do wonder, and you worry for him in terms of his World Cup place, about whether he can be trusted to last a 4 or 5 week tournament.
Yeah, which, it's such a shame because he's the best right back we've got, for me. Outstanding player. And it's been great to see him play so many games this season. Been managed well by Chelsea, I think. Obviously signed a new contract, which would be interesting to see the stipulations of that contract depending on how often he plays. But he's been rewarded, I think, for his leadership as well.
Well, we can only hope that the hamstring injury he's picked up is not too serious. Very conflicting reports about how many weeks he'll be out for. But he's missed out there tonight. Accrington Stanley 0, Notts County 3 in League 2. Now, Chelsea win the ball back at the edge of the area, and Pedro curls a right-footed shot narrowly wide of the far post. Cucurella stepped in, midway point of the Paris Saint-Germain half from a misplaced pass out of defence. Found Joao Pedro, turned, shot, just beat the far post.
Been unlike him recently. He's been in such top form that you would have expected him at least to make Safanoff work, because there wasn't the pressure on him as he turned and saw that far corner, looking to curl it with his right foot inside the right post of Safanoff's goal. A foot wide, I would say, but he's better than that.
Swindon Town lead at Gillingham. Aaron Drinnan, the league's top scorer, puts the Robins 1-0 up down there in Kent. And that's an important goal for Swindon Town, who haven't won in 4, keeping themselves in the playoffs, not entirely out of automatic promotion chances. Peterborough 3-0 up on lowly Rotherham in League 1. David Camera with the third for the Posh from the penalty spot. Conor Grant got the third for Notts County at Accrington Stanley. And we have 56 minutes gone here on Talksport 2 at Stamford Bridge. It is as it was at half-time. Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 2, 7-2 on aggregate. Barcola, who's fit again, back on this near touchline. It's going to be another change for PSG in a minute. Desiree Doué, who's no slouch, is going to be brought on very shortly by Luis Enrique. Meanwhile, Trevor Chalobah guides the ball back to Robert Sanchez. Chelsea attacking the shed end away to our left in this second half. And they've probably had the more chances since the start of the second period than their opponents. And they're looking for Pedro Neto through the middle, but the ball's hit far too fiercely in his direction. And it's guided back to Safanoff, the Paris Saint-Germain keeper. Salford 2, Barrow 0, Fabio Barini. There's a name to conjure with. Playing his lead. Dean Ashton said to me, no, not the Fabio Barini. Yeah, it is. The Fabio Barini, once of Liverpool and whatnot. Scored the second goal for Salford at home to Barrow. Here's Cucurella for Chelsea. Lovely little flick with the back heel from Pedro Neto to find Joao Pedro. Now Enzo Fernandez just ahead of the centre circle. Options left and right. Goes just to his left for Hato. Good ball into the feet of Joao Pedro. Can turn and try and run towards the edge of the penalty area. Forced back in field for Andre Santos. Swirls it to Achiampong at the right-hand corner of the box. He lays it off to Moises Caicedo. Santos. One pass too many there from Chelsea. Could have taken a shot at goal there, but in trying to find Enzo, Vitinha stepped in front and drew the foul. Free kick to Paris Saint-Germain. 58 minutes gone on Talksport 2, still 2-0 to Paris Saint-Germain, and Doué is coming on for Barcola. I think that's a wise move, considering the injury that Barcola picked up. So one attacking speedster for another, and they're going to make a change here. They're going to make 3 changes are Chelsea. Romeo Lavia is going to come on for Enzo Fernandez. Alejandro Garnacho comes on for Cole Palmer, and Joao Pedro makes way for Liam Delap. And again, is that a few boos for taking off Cole Palmer, I wonder, from the Chelsea faithful?
Well, I think it's just taking off all the best players, effectively conceding that this is over. But it is. And he needs to probably protect those players, keep them fresh now for their next game. But that's not going to go down well. Of course it's not.
Chelsea's next game is Saturday tea time at Everton. And then they've got an FA Cup tie against Port Vale next Saturday. And Port Vale have just been pegged back at Blackpool. Port Vale were 2-1 up. It's now 2-2 at Bloomfield Road. Ashley Fletcher with his and Blackpool's second. And Bradford have equalised at home to Mansfield elsewhere in League One. Tyreek Wright making it 1-1 at the University of Bradford Stadium. So Delap and Lavia are on, as well as Garnacho. See what they can do in this remaining 30 minutes or so on Talksport 2. Remember, tomorrow night we've got 3 more Champions League games for you, starting here on Talksport 2 from 5:30. Barcelona against Newcastle. Dean Ashton, who's alongside me tonight, will be alongside Joe Shannon for that one. And then Alvin Martin will be with me just round the M25 from here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to see what Spurs can do about the 3-goal deficit they've got to make up against Atletico Madrid. Now here's Chelsea down the right-hand side with Pedro Neto. 4 to aim out in the box. He finds Delap. Got the shot goal bound, but it was tipped away by Safanov, who just instinctively flung himself to his right. Decent save. Decent chance for Chelsea.
Yeah, another good save, isn't it, from PSG goalkeeper Safanov? But it was brilliant bit of defensive work from Marquinhos, because Delap, you just thought was going to have that free strike. He just stepped across at the right time to take the sting out of the shot from Delap, which made it easier for the goalkeeper.
Now Kvaratskhelia away down the left-hand side for Paris Saint-Germain. It's got the beating of Chalobah. 2 to aim out in the area. Still got it. Lays it back to the edge of the box. Vitinha can't get the strike in, but it's fired in quite beautifully by Seni Mayulu. It's 3-0. Cue the mass exodus from Stamford Bridge of Chelsea fans. No respect being shown to the world champions by the European champions. Paris Saint-Germain have taken the ball and shoved it in Chelsea's net 3 times, and Seni Mayulu, this young teenager, has just scored a cracker with his left foot from that swift counter-attack. Boy, oh boy, it's getting worse for Liam Rosenior, as Chelsea are set to be on the end of their worst ever European defeat. It is 3-0 on the night, 8-2 on aggregate to Paris Saint-Germain.
Well, teenagers taking over the world, aren't they? 19-year-old Mayulu with a stunning finish in the Champions League. Again, it was Kvaratskhelia down the left-hand side, always tormenting, picks out the right pass. Hakimi, though, is just stopped in his tracks by Santos. The ball falls loose right at the centre of the penalty area, just outside that area, left-footed, arcing away from Sanchez. Again, the top corner is found. The elite level of the Champions League, and PSG are that.
Well, again, as Dean Ashton noted earlier, Chelsea elected not to show any replays of that goal on the stadium monitors, as the aggregate score gets worse and worse. So many fans around us got to their feet when that third one hit the back of the net. It's probably a good job that Andy Jacobs isn't on Talksport tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock.
Exactly. Although I kind of do want to listen to him.
Well, he's got till Friday to calm down, but he'll be coming off his long run-up. Here is Mayulu, having scored that third, bringing it forward again. Finding Dembele, right-hand corner of the area, gives it back to Mayulu. Can he turn it back to the left-hand side of the area? He can. Kvaratskhelia at the dead ball line, trying to make space for a cross. Rolls it back to Zaire Emery at the edge of the area. Won't take a shot on. Instead, it's given to Doué. Now Hakimi. Back for Desiree Doué once more. Bromley, the leaders of League 2, are 1-0 up late on at Newport through Corey Whiteley. Here's Vitinha, and again the Paris Saint-Germain fans cheering every completed pass from their team. Dembele lays it off to Vitinha on halfway, keeping the ball away from Liam Delap. Back it goes to Marquinhos. Poor pass from the Brazilian, but still Dembele can hair across to that far side and keep it in play. That's a poor crossfield pass straight to Garnacho, who can run up to the edge of the area, and a right-footed shot beaten away by Safanov. It's just not breaking for Chelsea. Delap trying to put the ball across the face of goal. Safanov saves again. That's Pedro Neto at the right-hand corner of the area. He can't make space for the shot. Back it goes to Caicedo. Caicedo out to the left-hand side for Cucurella. Having to touch it infield for Caicedo, and now Paris Saint-Germain have got their shape back. Arsenal 2-0 up on Bayer Leverkusen over on Talksport. Declan Rice making it 3-1 on aggregate. That would appear to be Arsenal through to the quarter-finals to face Sporting, who won 5-0 earlier today, having been 3-0 down on aggregate to Bodo Glimt from the first leg. It needed extra time for the Lisbon club to do it, but they did it. And that Arsenal game live on TalkSport right now. Here's Neto for Chelsea, 3-0 down on the night. Can't get the better of Nuno Mendes, and Kvaratskhelia sprints away down the left-hand side. Achiampong trying to go with him, and Kvaratskhelia runs out of room on that far side. Cardiff 0, Wickham 1. So the top two in League One are both losing. Lincoln still 2-1 down at Huddersfield, and Andre Vidigal has put Wickham ahead at the Cardiff City Stadium. Double change for Paris Saint-Germain. And Gonzalo Ramos is going to come on for Dembele. And Lucas Hernandez, the French left-back, who's had his fair share of horrific injuries, he's coming on as well. And it's Nuno Mendes who's going off and is walking around the perimeter of the pitch, and will soon be getting a rapturous round of applause from the travelling support. A lot of whom are doing the Poznan right now, facing away. But they need to pay attention because their team are coming forward. It's Kvaratskhelia playing it up to the edge of the area. Vitinha now has it. Rolls it back to the centre circle. Marquinhos strokes it out to the right-hand side. Doué touches it infield. Never understood the Poznan.
No, but it does look good.
It looks incredible, but it's also slightly mad. What are you going to be missing potentially? A lot of them are sort of trying to look round. It's not easy to do the Poznan, sort of crane your neck to look round your left shoulder to see what's going on. Given away by Achraf Hakimi into the centre circle. It's Lavia finding Liam Delap. Cracks the ball goalward straight into the grateful arms of Safanov, who's looked neat and tidy in goal for Paris Saint-Germain tonight. Still 3-0 midway through the second half. Here come Paris Saint-Germain again. It's out to the left-hand side, and Kvaratskhelia, who wins a corner off Achiampong, and the pressure continues. They're not declaring it 3-0 up here, Paris Saint-Germain, Dean Ashton.
Well, not when you bring those type of players on. They're players that want to make an impact.
Short corner, Desiree Doué receives the short corner from Kvaratskhelia, makes room for a shot and puts it over the bar. Well placed as well, Kvaratskhelia. But got it all wrong, got underneath it, and Chelsea have a goal kick, but they're 3-0 down, Chelsea.
Yep, standards have just slipped a little bit, Chelsea. You can understand it. Heads have gone down completely after that third goal. Just switched off there from the set play, allowed Kvaratskhelia to get into a great position. Unlike him, to hit one, blaze one over the top when trying to find that far corner.
Well, I was waiting for him to at least get it on target and give Sanchez something to think about. You're listening to Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 3 in the Champions League, live on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Here's Liam Delap on halfway, doing well to hold off Pacho. Tries to spread play wide to Cole Palmer. Referee gave a free kick for holding on Liam Delap. Bristol Rovers take a late lead against Shrewsbury in League 2. Tommy Lee putting the gas ahead at the Mem. And Blackpool are in front against Port Vale, who Chelsea take on soon in the FA Cup. They've come from 2-1 down, Blackpool to lead 3-2 late on. Ruel Walters for the Tangerines. In Accrington Stanley 0, Notts County 4 at the Wham Stadium, Tyrese Hall. Peterborough 5-0 up, and Rotherham goes flying in the EFL this evening. Archie Collins with the 5th for the Posh. Meanwhile, here at Stamford Bridge, into the last quarter of this game, 3-0 Paris Saint-Germain, 8-2 on aggregate. And they've finally decided to stop doing the pause now, and the PSG fans have turned to face front and starting to bounce up and down in unison once again. As Safanov clears into the centre circle, held up really well by the Paris substitute Gonzalo Ramos. Out to the left-hand side, and Kvaratskhelia trying to make Josh Achampong worried. Has him backpedaling for a moment, but then back it goes into midfield. To Marquinhos on halfway. Out to Doué on this near side, the right, faced up by Cucurella. Into the feet of Ramos, went to ground. Mayulu plays it through the middle, almost found its way through to Doué, who made a lovely diagonal run in field. And then Paris Saint-Germain think they've won a throw, but it's given us a Chelsea throw away to our right-hand side. Just over 20 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Paris Saint-Germain 3-0 up.
Yeah, just a little note on Zaire Emery. Came in as such a young player with a lot of expectation. Seems to just have grown in stature, I think, a little bit already. More this season.
Great run downfield from Caicedo. Finds Garnacho inside the area, left-hand side. Could have taken it first time. In the end, the shot's taken, and it's blocked away by 2 or 3 Paris Saint-Germain shirts. I was waiting for him to open his body up there, Garnacho, and just try and stroke it home when it came to him left-hand side of the box, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, a confident player, I think, does. I think the right option was to hit that first time, because as soon as you chop back in further onto your right foot, well, you're into trouble.
Another run downfield from Moises Caicedo, right through the centre, up to the edge of the box, but then a heavy touch takes it away from him. Andre Santos rolls it to Pedro Neto, gets the better of Zaire Emery, drives it awkwardly across the face of goal, too much height on it, and it escaped Delap and Garnacho and goes out of play for a Paris Saint-Germain throw. As Tosin Adarabayo is going to come on for Marc Cucurella for these last 20 minutes or so, as Fabio Borini scores again for Salford City, 3-1 up against Barrow. So I told you retired too early, Dean. You can still do a job for Carl Robinson. Cardiff 0, Wickham 2 as well in League 1. Corley Woodrow, once of Fulham, has got Wickham's second goal. They started the night only 3 points off 6. It's really tightening up.
I'll tell you what,
League 1 playoff places.
He wouldn't have done if he'd have seen me attack that icy donut at half time.
Well, I wasn't witness to that, so I'll take your word for it.
If you'd have blinked, you'd missed it.
Really? Okay. Well, you're entitled.
Yeah.
Ball touched out left for Alejandro Garnacho for Chelsea. Level with the 18-yard line. Trying to get past Hakimi. Keeps it in play down by the corner flag. Rolls it back to Hato. Hato thought about putting the cross into the box. It's just not working for Chelsea. Now they're working up to the edge of the D, looking for Liam Delap, but it's intercepted. And now the Paris Saint-Germain fans are way to the left, just gently swaying from side to side, along with the song that they're singing. Now they're bouncing up and down. They've got so many routines. These Paris Saint-Germain fans, they know exactly what they're doing.
It's impressive, isn't it? I mean, they do tend to put us to shame. I'm not going to lie, do they? Some of the other European teams that we see choreographed, do not stop.
Kvaratskhelia has been taken off by Luis Enrique, and Kang In Lee, the South Korean who joined a couple of years ago from Mallorca, is going to get a run. So Doué's gone across to the Paris Saint-Germain left, and Lee to this near side, the right, with Paris Saint-Germain attacking the Matthew Harding in this second half. Swindon have a second at Gillingham. Late on there, they're 2-0 up. Fletcher Holman for Ian Holloway's side. Ball given away by Paris Saint-Germain. Delap up to the edge of the D, faced up by Pacho. Gives it to Caicedo, who drags a right-footed shot wide. That's as close as Chelsea have come in the last few minutes, but it's another goal kick to Paris Saint-Germain, and their clean sheet, the Parisians, is still intact.
But I think Chelsea haven't acted quickly enough when they've won the ball back. It's taken too long to make that decision whether to shoot or whether to pass. Liam Delap there, again, I think just get that out of his feet and strike. Instead, he delays. Sideways to Caicedo, gets it out of his feet and strikes well, as we know he can do, but just 3 or 4 feet wide, not really troubling Safanov's goal.
So you're listening to Chelsea 0, Paris Saint-Germain 3 in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Romeo Lavia back for Chalobah. Now Chalobah finds Hato on this near side of the left. Has to come in field under pressure from Hakimi. Achiampong. He gets dispossessed by the left-hand side. It's out to Gonzalo Ramos looking for Doué inside the area. Achiampong atoned for the error, got back goal side and scooped the ball away from danger. Now it's driven up to Delap on halfway. Good control from Liam Delap. Flicks it out to the right. Neto brings it in field. Garnacho calling for it. Left-hand corner of the area. Picks it up now. Gets it on his left. Good save again. Low down to his left by Safanov. And it stays 3-0 to Paris Saint-Germain on Talksport 2.
Good break again by Chelsea. Garnacho again in a good position. Doesn't do enough. Yeah, he shifts it onto his left foot, but the strike isn't there. It's not hit hard enough, into the corner enough. And a goalkeeper at this level, Safanov, makes a pretty comfortable save.
Up he goes to the left-hand side and Gonzalo Ramos. It's cleared downfield by Lucas Hernandez. Given away though. Chelsea have got it back. Garnacho in the centre of the PSG half. Bromley have beaten Newport in League 2. Crawley get a late equaliser against Barnet. Struggling Crawley through Danilo Orsi. Makes it 1-1 there. Ball goes into the Paris Saint-Germain box, but it's a comfortable catch for Safanov, the Russian keeper, on his 6-yard line. Crew have equalised at Cheltenham late on as well. That's 1-1. James Connolly for Dean Ashton's old club. First Talksport goal I ever commentated on was a Dean Ashton penalty back in 2004 for Crewe against Cardiff City.
Correct.
I remember it well. I was only expecting to do reports, and 5 minutes in I'm commentating on a penalty. No pressure.
No. That's when they're in the
Not quite the same pressure you were under trying to score it, mind.
No pressure.
Oh, I like that.
No pressure.
Did you ever miss a penalty?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have brought that up, really.
No, I don't mind.
Okay. Somewhat cruel. Late goal from Reading. They lead at Burton 2-1 in League 1. They were only 1 point off 6 at the start. Not Kelvin Ayebatchaman with a goal. Here come Paris Saint-Germain looking for a fourth. They're still bringing plays forward and keeping plenty of red shirts around that 18-yard line.
Hakimi's just got involved in the left wing. He's the right back.
Yeah.
It's brilliant the way they just let him go.
And we had that thing when Dembele was playing as a sort of right-sided midfielder rather than what we thought he was, which was central striker of the front three. Very, very fluid in the way they set up Paris Saint-Germain. Luis Enrique appears to have them well drilled. Back it goes to Pacho and Marquinhos, the two centre-halves. Now on this near side, Kang-in Lee. Oh, it's given away needlessly by Hakimi. Oh, but in steps Pacho just to calmly take it away from Liam Delap. Has to get in again, not once but twice. And now he loses out to Delap, who brings it forward. Has a shot from the edge of the area, but again, no power behind the shot. Very comfortable save for Safanov, and more frustration for the Chelsea faithful. 3-0 Paris Saint-Germain with 13 to go.
Yeah, it's frustrating for Liam Delap as well as a couple now, because I think that is his strength, that ability to shoot from distance with power. Really didn't catch hold of that at all. Bobbling its way to Safanov. I mean, it's gone into a strange game, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Paris Saint-Germain kind of doing what they want, leaving gaps as well, though, for Chelsea, who have been poor, actually, in their execution of their attacks.
Zaire Emery tucks it out to Gonzalo Ramos, left-hand side. Now it appears that the visitors are stroking the ball around with a bit more of a casual nature than they might have done for the first 70-75 minutes. Given away though, and away goes Garnacho, sprinting down the left-hand side. Gets down the left-hand side of the box, pulls it across the face of goal, but a deflection off Vitinha makes it easier for Safanov to grab hold of in his 6-yard box. 3-0 PSG.
But again, that work off the ball, Vitinha not giving up there, was he? Came across as the midfield player, did his job, just took enough off the cross that would have been a dangerous cross if it had got through. Instead, took the sting out of it, easy for the goalkeeper. That's great work.
Yeah, they want the clean sheet, don't they? Really set the seal on this impressive victory against Chelsea, who come forward with Neto. Again, Garnacho, left-hand side of the box, faced up by Marquinhos. No space to take the shot yet. Now he rolls it onto his right foot, and again, Safanov with a good save. Low down to his right this time. Keeps it out and preserves that clean sheet for the visitors.
Yeah, excellent by Neto, who started the attack, lent it to Garnacho, didn't just stand there and watch it, overlapped to give Garnacho the chance to nip inside on his right foot. Again, right idea. Just poor effort, just easy for Safanov to get down to his right. That's got to have more power, more accuracy to beat the goalkeeper from Garnacho.
Huddersfield 2, Lincoln 2. So the leaders get themselves back from 2-0 down at the John Smiths. Cardiff are losing, so that's going to help Lincoln extend their lead at the top to 5 points with 8 games to play. Bolton and Bradford below them are both drawing. Stockport and Reading are both winning in 5th and 6th. So Huddersfield are going to drop out of the top 6 into 7th, having been pegged back at home by the league leaders. In fact, there's 3 points between 5th and 10th in League One now. From Stockport in 5th down to Plymouth in 10th. It's Riley Towler that got that equaliser for Lincoln in stoppage time. 10 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Here come Paris Saint-Germain with Kang In Lee down the right-hand side. Just stops for a moment and rolls it back infield to Vitinha. He plays a 1-2 with Pacho on halfway. And at times, PSG really are slowing the game down to walking pace. But then occasionally they will suddenly go through the gears, Dean Ashton, and put Chelsea under pressure.
Yeah,
throw plenty forward.
It's fun for them. That's why.
Yeah.
You know, you can take the time at the back. It gets played into a midfield player, and he's got space. He'll make it work.
Out to the left-hand side it goes, and Gonzalo Ramos. Back for Lucas Hernandez. Now Marquinhos plays it into midfield. Worked out to Hakimi on this near side. Grimsby looked to have won it late on against Fleetwood. Jay's caveat makes it Grimsby 1, Fleetwood 0 in added time at Blundell Park. Marquinhos clears downfield for Paris Saint-Germain, bounces near the halfway line. Tosin beats Ramos to it. Lee keeps it away from Gerald Hato with some neat drops of the shoulder. Marquinhos plays it somewhat dangerously across his own penalty area. Cleared away by Hernandez. Gonzalo Ramos collects inside his own half. Vitinha, head up, always looking for an option, finds Hakimi just shy of the halfway line. Then Lee works in field. Mayulu lets it drop, and then Hakimi on the burst again down the right, but this time it's covered by Trevor Chalobah. Chalobah almost showed too much of that to Hakimi, managed to get it downfield, and then Santos takes the ball past Vitinha and then runs into traffic. There's 2 players who've gone down. Hakimi, and is it Tosin? No, it's Chalobah who's gone down, who looks the worst for wear out of the 2 of those players. Hakimi's already back on his feet, and the physios have been told to come on and treat Trevor Chalobah here, and that is another bad sign for Liam Rosenior.
It is. He's certainly not the player that they would want to miss. First choice centre-back all season. It's a little late by Hakimi as well. I'm surprised the officials didn't spot it, as Chalobah just played that into midfield. Hakimi really sort of dived in and caught him on the ankle. And
so treatment being administered to Trevor Chalobah Oh, they need the stretcher. Oh, goodness me. They've just made the signal, the physios, to the bench that they're going to need the stretcher for Trevor Chalobah. And a bad night is just getting worse and worse and worse for Liam Rosenior and Chelsea, as one of their senior defenders is going to play no farther part, and who knows how bad this injury might be for Trevor Chalobah.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had the benefit of a replay. I just saw Hakimi sort of diving into the challenge with Chalobah, both of them diving in as Chalobah was playing that into midfield. He definitely caught him. Whether it was unintentional in terms of landing on him and him twisting his leg, we'd have to see the replay. But straight away he made a signal to the bench. There was clearly an issue.
And so the stretcher's been brought out onto the pitch. Chalobah is lying on his side, just outside the Chelsea 18-yard box, and will shortly be lifted onto the stretcher and carried off. Just making sure he's as comfortable as he can possibly be, the physio staff, before they put him onto the stretcher. Meantime, Watford have scored a third late on against Wrexham. That's the 3 points to the Hornets. Eduardo Bove makes it Watford 3, Wrexham 1. And Chalobah is now, I think he's on the stretcher. There's a lot of individuals around him, but he has been placed on the stretcher now and will soon be picked up. And he is indeed now being led off the field. And this is a very worrying sign. And we hope it's not as serious as it looks right at this moment for Trevor Chalobah. And the Chelsea fans that are still here, because there's a lot of empty seats now around Stamford Bridge, are giving him a warm round of applause as he makes his way to the tunnel.
Yeah, it's a worrying sign, isn't it? Chalobah taking off on a stretcher. I just hope the fact that they haven't put his leg in a brace, it's not as bad as first feared, but still not a good sign.
No, he's covering his face with his hands. May well be in a good deal of pain. But I think because Chelsea, they can't bring any subs, can they?
No.
That's it, they've made all their 5. So they're going to have to play out the rest of this game with 10 men. Chelsea. Out to the left-hand side it goes, and Paris Saint-Germain coming away. Now, I've got some breaking news for you on Talksport 2. Morocco have been awarded victory in the African Cup of Nations final via a 3-0 walkover over Senegal. The CAF appeal board has ruled that Senegal forfeited the final, upholding an appeal by Morocco. It comes after the Senegal team walked off, you might remember, protesting a Morocco penalty. And CAF say this is a breach of Article 84. This coming from our Talksport colleague Ben Jacobs. Morocco are now the African Cup of Nations champions. That could run and run. That particular story,
isn't it?
I did watch that final, and it reminded me of, I think it was France against Kuwait in the 82 World Cup, where France got awarded a penalty, and I think one of the Kuwait sultans came to the side of the pitch and told the Kuwait players to go back to the dressing room. But what we saw from Senegal was that to the power of 10. Back underway here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea having to play out the rest of this game with just 10 players, with Chalobah stretchered off, having made all their substitutions. Back it goes to Romeo Lavia. Now Achiampong, who's playing at centre-half in Chalobah's absence, works it out to the right-hand side, and Neto. I guess the one thing you can say, Dean Ashton, about the Chelsea players is none of them are really hidden tonight. Caicedo, another lung-busting run down through the centre of the field. Goes out to the right-hand side, and Pedro Neto. But it's won back by Desiree Doué.
No, I mean, they haven't hidden. I think you can't say it's a lack of effort or trying to create, which they have. You know, they've had 18 attempts, 9 of them on target this evening for Chelsea. But ultimately, in the big moments of this two-legged tie, there's been some really poor decision and certainly some poor defending, and you just will not get away with it at Champions League level.
Keeper's done well too as well, hasn't he, for them?
Yeah, he's been really steady this evening. That Cole Palmer chance and save was the best of the bunch.
Ball's back with William Pacho for Paris Saint-Germain. Heading towards added time. Arsenal going through to face Sporting. They're 2-0 up against Bayer Leverkusen live on Talksport right now. Manchester City still 1-1 with Real Madrid. They're going out. They got a man sent off, Bernardo Silva, in the first half, and they've not been able to eat into that aggregate lead anymore in the second half against the multiple Champions League champions. And the current reigning European champions, Paris Saint-Germain, have a corner at the Matthew Harding end as we head towards the last minute of normal time. Doué won the corner. Lee has gone across for the short corner. It's worked back even further into the half for Lucas Hernandez. Now Vitinha, centre of the Chelsea half, finds Hakimi, strokes it out to this near side, the PSG right, and Zaire Emery.
I've just looked at Gonzalo Ramos, who's come on and wants a piece of the pie, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And they're just taking the short corner and passing it around at the back. He's furious.
You know what that's all about, right? Wearing a number 9 shirt, not getting the ball early enough.
Of course. But he'll be thinking, well, why aren't we going for another goal? They've got 10 men. This game's over. We can take a risk.
Cross into the Chelsea box, hooked away by Tosin. Good touch from Andre Santos, allowed Garnacho to come away with the ball down to this near touch line. Kept it in play and keeps it away from Kang In Lee, but then actually had carried out a play according to the referee. So it'll be a throw-in for Achraf Hakimi. And the full-time whistle goes. There is no added time despite the injury to Trevor Chalobah, and Chelsea go out of the Champions League with a whimper, certainly not with a bang, and no respect shown by Paris Saint-Germain as they came here and extended the aggregate lead to 8-2, making it Chelsea's worst ever European night. Started by Kvici Kvaratskhelia, who scored early on, out-muscling Mamadou Sarr, making his Champions League debut for Chelsea. Bradley Barcola soon made it 2-0 in the first half. 3-0 through Seni Mayulu, the teenager, with a lovely left-footed shot into the top corner just after the hour mark. And that was that. In truth, that was that when Kvaratskhelia made it 6-2 on aggregate. So the reigning Champions League holders are comfortably through to the quarter-finals, and Chelsea now have to hope that their Champions League qualification can be earned by league position with the rest of the Premier League fixtures to play out. But it is not a night for Liam Rosenior to want to remember for too long, Dean Ashton.
No, not a night to enjoy as a Chelsea fan. Difficult watch, wasn't it, once Kvaratskhelia got that early goal. And he made the decision to change the system. It didn't work. He changed it back in the second half. There was no lack of effort or desire from his team, but there was a lack of, I think, Champions League understanding and a little bit of naivety as well against this Paris Saint-Germain team who, okay, might not have been setting incredible standards in the group phase, but they didn't last year. They're timing it perfectly once again, and Chelsea have been on the end of a lesson in the Champions League about giving this type of opposition too much time and space.
PSG players have just gone to their fans at the shed end and taken the acclaim of the travelling support. Chelsea players have done their little mini lap around the stadium but are trudging towards the tunnel now. And of course all the problems for Chelsea over the past 7 days just exacerbated by this result and the apparent loss to serious injury of Trevor Chalobah as well towards the end. How come it never rains? It only pours for Liam Rosenior right now.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier, of course. He took off the more important players in that second half. Chalobah is one of those important players, and just really unfortunate that he seems to have got injured. Let's hope that it's not too serious for him especially. But when you take a job like Chelsea, the expectation's always going to be there, and that won't change. And now that has to refocus the team, because Champions League football is very much gettable still in the Premier League.
Sure is. And they're scrapping for one of those top 4, maybe top 5 places. We'll have to wait and see, with the likes of Liverpool and Manchester United and others who are just as desperate as Chelsea to get into the top European competition. And the Paris Saint-Germain players now making their way towards the tunnel. Job done. You're going to pick your man of the match in a minute, Dean, but I would say that the keeper for Paris Saint-Germain, Safanov, had an excellent night. Kvaratskhelia was his usual busy self down that left-hand side, and I do like watching Vitinha. He's a midfielder who's always got his head up, always looking around him for what's available, and always tends to play the right pass as well whenever he gets it. As for Chelsea, are there any bright spots from the performances you saw from them tonight?
I thought Neto was their best player this evening. I thought right from the off, he gave Nuno Mendes a really difficult night. Not many do. Other than that, Caicedo always gives you a level of performance, doesn't he? But it's difficult when it's taken away so early to really motivate yourself for the rest of the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is time now to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. So if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Well, don't let me sway you. Dean Ashton, where does your nomination go for man of the match tonight?
I'm going to give it to Vitinha. I'm like you. He's just such a wonderful player that knits everything together when the likes of Hakimi and Zaire Emery and the likes are off on their wanders anywhere they want on the pitch. He's the one that kind of sits there and then picks a little hole to fill. A couple of times he did defensively as well, which was really important early on in the game, Vitinha. But just a super talent that just keeps PSG rolling on in the Champions League.
There you go. Vitinha was Dean Ashton's man of the match, here for its hero with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.